We're finally back to a game that has just an absolutely baller title screen theme. I've been waiting for so long. It's been so long since we've had one of these. What was the last game we played? Like, yo, what up? Last game was like Pokemon Legends Arceus. That game doesn't even have intro music, and I feel like there was something else we played that also kind of sucked. But we're back with the Great Ace Attorney. Finally, it's been so long. I missed it. It's a good damn game. It's a good damn game, and we're back, and we're gonna continue Twisted Karma and his last bow. What happened to all his other bows? Did they die? It was indeed a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement and a commonplace killing at the edge of town.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said.
That didn't sound like him.
Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement.
Why'd everyone have red hair?
A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night.
I remember that.
And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
That does sound like him. So what's this with everybody having red hair? 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosmo regaining his memory. We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. I know that one. Whoa, it is pretty nice. Check out those light fixtures. 1st of November. 10:24 a.m. Great Waterloo Hotel foyer. Professor Mikataba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. What's wrong? Suzato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Oh, right. Her dead friend is back. I forgot that's what happened. Right. Yeah, for sure. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Oh yeah, he was like a murderer too, right? Do you suppose my father knew? That he was actually the mass murderer? The professor, you mean? You didn't have to say it so bluntly, but yes. I knew that's what you was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikataba knew about Cosmo going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk with me about it. That probably means he knows, then, about Cosmo showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory now. But why would he know that he's regained his memory now? Ah, there she is! Oh, who... Is that the judge? Hell yeah! Oh, Father!
Hello, Suzato. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. He looking kind of fly. That is the judge! Holy shit, the judge looks so different.
Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here.
Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure.
We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas.
It has?
Well, I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain.
Why is it question marks? We know! I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? How can you not recognize the beard, my dude?
I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Sishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes.
A firm tap? What? He's gonna tap your ass, bro.
Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty of not remembering who I am.
You're... Yes, obviously. I'm blaming you personally. True. Welcome back to Belliot. It's been a couple of weeks.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Your Excellency. Hello, Judge Chikogu. How are you? It's been a long time.
Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. I hope everything's all right, Cabelliot.
Guilty.
Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time.
So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back.
Babunga is back.
Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to the international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Sishiro? What are you talking about, Eugen?
Of course, Judge Chikagu. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotaba. He's the third visiting scholar.
Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a long time. I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous.
Sorry, ministerial status. I can't even say that word.
Yes, you did, didn't you know? Sishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here at the study tour. Guilty as charged.
Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks.
Ah, yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday.
Oh, you did?
It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy.
Yes. Could you tell us any more about it? So, how was the voyage here?
Well, 15 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris?
We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow.
It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
It's thanks to Seshiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with a professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of wander under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back.
Kazuma's father, I suppose. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Kazuma's father, wasn't he?
That's correct. Genshin Asogi.
Dude, I guess you could say he made a real Genshin impact on their aristocracy. He's done it again! Comedic genius over here!
Genshin.
You knew, I presume, Father?
Yes, he was a close friend at the time.
Comedy, techneo, true.
Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. Never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father?
No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
Asogis never get sick. As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day he came to my office at the university and said, "I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there."
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know, but when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him.
Something else came to light in the trial the other day, actually.
Oh, what?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma has since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks.
What? What? That's news to us!
So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part, then. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try and ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive. And here in London, you say? I never dared to even dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia?
When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were.
I see.
He only regained his memory 8 days ago.
This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently.
I wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him?
That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugen here, Genshin Usogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you.
16 years ago, things were tough for their generation.
Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy. Practically unheard of in Japan.
Yes, it was an eerie place sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Not more talk of graves.
Very often there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons.
Not my cup of tea at all. Irises, though, now that is my cup of tea.
Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but you were a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say, after that trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly, and the developers don't even give very many gems after updates. Or something, I wouldn't know, I don't fucking play that shit. I'm too busy with Cookie Run Kingdom. Come join us on the Choco Rangers server. Guild in the Dark Cacao server. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this shrunk up to my room as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call for the porter there. Just wait here. Mr. Dad? You mean Mikotaba? Almond cookie, probably. Susato-san's gone off at a run.
I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow.
Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. That or pastry, because he's a freak.
Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been.
Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Okay, it's dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is his favorite then. Or dark cacao, I mean. Sorry, what do you mean?
Oh, you know, I was a shitty dad through and through. Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here into Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born.
Yes, I heard.
The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yeah, Susato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details.
No, please do. Spill the tea, sis! Come on! Give me the tea on your dead wife!
The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seshiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say.
I completely understand, Professor. But not the Professor. He was a murderer.
One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, the thing is, I'm out of gems! I can't pull any more cookies! Please, Naruhodo, give me your credit card!
I'm sorry that took so long. Miss Susato, now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir.
That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe.
Quite right, sir. I just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a longful stay in the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Yes, of course.
Fucking Naruhodo. Dude, just go take a shit. Just take some Miralax, my man. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotaba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street, then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. That's not the tea I want spilt! I want that one in my cup! I want your dad's tea spilt! I'm getting more and more anxious about Cosmo, though. So he regained his memory and he just doesn't talk to us? Like, I'm confused. He's like, oh shit, I know who I am. I know who you are. You're my best friend. You're my girlfriend's sort of unclear childhood friend. Unclear. I regained my memory finally. Also, peace for 8 days. Not gonna reach out at all. A new location has been added. It's the Shome Suite. Oh yeah, that's true. Adopted brother, sort of. First of all, Shomes, what the fuck are you doing now? Second of all, Shomes, how the fuck do I read your dialogue? I don't know how to do that accent. What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think... Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. It was. Oh, no, it wasn't? Oh, this is the red hair. The red hair is happening. I don't want to do it anymore. Mon ami, stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now? John of the Clink?
No, not in prison. It is dark and damp and I don't like it.
Both the darkness, it is my friend. I'm not scared.
Yeah, but you are always scared of the dark.
Shut your mouth, you idiot! I will sit quietly in the dark and plan a daring heist.
I don't like this. I don't like it.
What the fuck is happening? Well, tough. We'll finish this down in the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy?
Unlike you, yeah.
Bitch. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Yes, of course. Dr. John H. Wilson.
So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest problems known to man.
Why is your hair red? What have you done?
But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face?
Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today.
In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am in fact expecting a guest later today.
Hey, who are those two people? Mr. Sholmes, who are the two gentlemen that were here before?
Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions?
But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Hairlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out.
Oh my, you are the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes.
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally.
You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. He doesn't respond to my texts, ever! It's almost like the man doesn't like me! The man is constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it! A bungler, that's the word.
It's a good job he's not here. He's not good job he's not here to say that. So those redheads have been up to no good in the neighborhood. I wonder if their mom got scared. I wonder what the men did. The greatest problem. No. Sholmes did not call him a bunger. He called him a bungler. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes?
How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance?
Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? No, just you.
Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to try and be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes?
Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of red!
Mood. But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspelsia only the other day?
Pshaw, a large sum! One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it had quite disappeared, I assure you.
Why did you buy a fucking car? Honestly, Ellie, you know you squandered it.
Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least.
And what was the answer?
Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes.
Don't tell me, let me see.
She waves her hand in front of Naruhodo's face like, where is it? Where's the clue? I gotta find it.
Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think.
Your sleeves are rolled up. That's it. It's his sleeves, guys. I got it. I'm a detective. They don't call me the Great Ace Attorney for nothing. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of the conversation. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us...
I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that.
That case aboard the SS Buria in January, Cosmo wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? T, sis, T.
The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew.
But how?
I murdered all of them. After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Oh, how horrible.
It wasn't necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course.
But why? Why do it in the first place?
I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events.
What events?
His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment.
Mr. Sholmes. Can we talk about your hair now? This looks like last week's edition. What's the article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement column. It says, dye your hair red, for some fucking reason. The Red-Headed League, what's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... She's staring daggers at him.
Is something on my face?
Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. Or, can we talk about this mask, actually? The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeeks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. We ought to give it back to him, I suppose. He has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? Doesn't talk to us at all. Wait, do you get... Oh my god, you turn your hair red? And they pay you money. Amazing. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes.
To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way?
I was thinking that just maybe, might be related to your bright red hair.
So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry.
In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation.
Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut.
So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits.
Regale or boast? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you circled?
You noticed it in the paper then. That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment.
It was? How?
According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair.
That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 per week. Oh my, £4 a week.
But why? What are they paying people for?
That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every redheaded person in the country would be flocking to join in that case.
It did say, no, for what it's worth, for what it's worth, it does say all red-headed men who are sound in body and mind above the age of 21 years. Sorry, Iris.
You're right, Susie, there's no time to lose. So will I, just on the off chance.
That might be stretching a point, I think.
The trouble is they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can.
But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
So you decided to try and join in his place?
Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow?
No.
So why? Why did it have to go so wrong?
What on earth happened?
A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it.
You blundered. You blundered!
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Zato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece.
What the fuck?
I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. Oh no.
Chemistry?
I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves, and in the course of my work I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair aflame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson.
Oh my god, his pubic hair is red. I'm dying. Oh no. I think I'll pass.
But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say...
But of course! To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger.
That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Early left full confidence yesterday with his new red hair for the park on Lime Street where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong?
The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a Costa's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front.
But when the panel of interviewers saw me,
They immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Airlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?"
damn, that sucks.
So naturally I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair to the police.
What? Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads.
Wait, what'd those two redheads do? I'm confused what they did.
Mr. Sholmes, you mentioned before that you were expecting a guest today?
Indeed, Miss Susato, that is correct.
Not another of those redheaded gentlemen that were here before.
Not at all. They were petty villains. The guest I'm expecting is a client.
Oh?
A young gentlewoman who wishes to appoint the services of this great detective, no less.
Oh, how wonderful, Mr. Sholmes.
We must stay and observe the fashion which a great detective receives his customers.
Must we?
I have you in my clutches now, Rent, just as I have you in my clutches, redheads.
That hearty laugh is masking rather sinister thoughts, I feel. You know, the lady isn't due for another hour yet. Don't feel as though you must wait around if you have other things to do.
Let's move. I thought we were gonna have tea. Let's go up to our consultancy, see what's going on. I'm confused what the redheads did. Were they the ones there? Did he annoy Strongheart? Were they the ones who were taking applications and they're like evil or I don't get it. I feel like I missed a beat there. Alright, let's go annoy Strongheart then. British Supreme Court.
Here is the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord.
What's Lord Van Zeke's doing here?
My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air. What did you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. Oh, speaking of tension.
My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me.
Oh, no. It's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
Now then, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord, I'm right here. Kill me now.
Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room with such a perfect temperature.
If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise.
Because the daggers you're staring at me with mainly.
As you are no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madame.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands, then, Lord Van Zeeks.
I will attend at once.
Why does everyone hate me? He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I?
These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service?
Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just,
Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further.
That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. That's just how he always looks.
Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, missing?
What's become of Kazuma-sama now?
I need a sneeze. It's not coming.
Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world?
As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of Imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making, 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries.
Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations.
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential, which is why this landmark's first symposium has to be hosted here at the heart of the great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. His passion for crime!
You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department.
And can you not do that now?
Obviously. Nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say.
Unintended repercussions of our trial.
We simply couldn't have overlooked what happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. I speak this as a good guy, of course, not a villain. Villains never say shit like that.
About Lord Van Zeek's apprentice.
Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeek's in the first place?
It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my!
So he stowed away to get there.
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zeek's, that way I could keep an eye on him.
That sounds like a bald-faced lie, honestly. But then why the mask?
I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zeek's with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice.
Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask.
He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zeek, so I have high hopes for his future.
By the way, do you know where he's gone?
No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh.
I take it you also didn't know. That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean.
Ryunosuke. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was...
Ah yes, Ryunosuke. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
Hound? A hound, you say? Potentially of the Baskervilles variety?
And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand.
Correct. However, it has to be noted there were some supporters of Professor's apparent cause.
What? Supporters of a mass murderer?
The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed, anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it?
It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
You want to look at this? Hey, you want to be a redhead?
Could I show you this, Lord Westrugheart?
I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence.
Oh.
Especially when the evidence in question is so dull.
Ah, so that's the real reason.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling! Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client, with money to spend.
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Early.
Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course.
Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Early can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Thwack!
Mr. Shams! Mr. Airlock Shams, please, oh please. Please find my husband. He's run away.
Oh, no!
To upset me.
I beg your pardon.
Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo?
I didn't say a word.
Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please.
Yeah, it's the jury member. Of course. What's the matter, Mrs. Otto?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yeah, now that you come to mention it, they really are just reusing models.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough.
Oh, Mr. Shams, you are the picture of benevolence.
But you will also take money.
I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you'll remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
Oh, me?
What am I about to tell you? I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand.
Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing.
Why did I ever get my hopes up? Oh my god.
Forgive me for asking, Miss Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh my!
Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week?
I knew I recognized her.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
Must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery written, nothing more.
Holy shit. He's leading into it. Now look what you started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much.
I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner.
Yes. Fucking A, man.
Tell us about your husband, madam.
Mr. Vigil, my daily.
Daily vigil, evening vigil. I'm fucking done. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. That's great.
He's 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least.
How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your head clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. And what if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a warder at the prison.
A guard. That is somewhat unusual.
So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments?
At such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged?
Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes.
Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it.
Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery.
No. Lowgate Cemetery, the very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me.
Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter.
This can't really be a coincidence, can it?
So to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
I'm sorry? Yesterday?
That really is recent. Laughably so.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not all out of the ordinary for him to not return home at night, but this is different. For him to not make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever can have happened?
My dear Miss Vigil, please, calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage in my detective powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the great problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put this suite's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it.
Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Miss Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me with the good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered earlier, we say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Thank you. Now allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think it every time, Early. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two. Are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her some good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Don't look at me with those puppy dog eyes, you red-haired freak! Don't fucking look at me at all! You bitch!
Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case?
Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually.
Excellent. And what did you make of it?
Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean.
Ah, so you noted that.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. I fucking love this guy.
Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us. Hoo-hoo-hoo, I said the thing. Students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. The professor.
And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
Run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's the prison governor you want. Governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried.
But aren't you gonna go yourself?
Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair.
But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair?
That was a quite different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy.
Bitch. Fuck you, of course you are. Why do you get paid? Why don't I get paid, huh? Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Oh, this is a fun room. You have a great room. It's real classy.
This place is full of hardened criminals. I can't remember the last time a civilian was down here. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me. You can know who I am. I'm the governor, barricading.
Barricading! Great name. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer.
And an Easter, I see. What does that mean?
Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan.
Japan! Did you say Japan?
Yes?
There's no one here can hear, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door.
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about...
I know like to be saying that, but I had no intention of speaking with her like you suspicious looking Easterners.
I forgot how much this game makes my throat hurt.
Now get my hair.
So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. Not surprising, actually. That surely means. I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asugi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison.
Oh, I might have known. You're a stiffer old butt that case, aren't you? Your agency brought the Professor's grey web, no doubt.
No, not at all. We're just...
Get going before I put your lights on.
We're going! Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here, unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us.
Governor Caden.
What are you thinking, Mrs. Otto?
I feel sure that name that came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas as how to help us.
Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. Hey, can we talk? That's Professor Mikataba over there.
Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up with the world now that I'm unpacked.
But where's Jikagu?
Yes, he was not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respect to all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived in the country today, goodness, he is full of energy.
Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prisoner governor of Barclay Prison.
Oh, Governor Caden, you mean?
So it is the same man.
Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk with us. He said we were suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story.
Oh, would you? That would be wonderful, if you have the time now.
Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment.
Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee?
Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikatabas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts.
Or it could be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts.
It's not full out now. I have an idea.
Just write me a note. What's he writing on that piece of paper?
Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully, when he sees my name, he'll change his tune.
Thank you. The letter of introduction.
Good luck, then.
Didn't you also have, like, something you wanted to ask me that you didn't ask me? Whatever. Yo, check out this photograph. Every time I look at it, it makes me like, ooh, should we know about this?
Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11th of September. London arrival 1st of November. Oh, that's the boat that Professor Mikatawa and Chikagu came in from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think he called it Dunkirk, the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover.
I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the Suspiria. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo?
Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden.
What's this say? You can't put a word on my eyes, you good for nothing Japanese student. Miko Taba. That young jock from a forensics laboratory? That Miko Taba?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't actually played Sonic, the first one. What's it called? The one that everyone liked? Generation? No, not Generations. What is it called? Forces? No, it's the other one. Mania, thank you. Yeah, I don't even know if I own Mania. So the Sonic games have never really been my jam. I've heard about it. Sonic Origins. I am interested in this Sonic one that looks very 3D, whatever it's called. Sonic Big World. I don't know. Frontiers. That one I might play. I might play the 2Ds, but I don't know. I've never been a huge Sonic fan. I like Adventure 1 and 2, but I like them more because they're campy and I played them as a kid rather than because they're actually good games, I think. Yeah, they're fine. Yes, exactly, him!
Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Eugene Mikotapa's daughter, Susato.
Thanks, young man's daughter. You didn't anything to mention that for.
I do apologize.
Well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? I dare forget to try one of these weird handcuff biscuits.
I love this guy. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So then, what can I do for you, Ed?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing.
Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
Why, nah, not of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh, but how can that be?
It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Yeah, Vigil.
That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course.
We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison.
Aye, they was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt. But it was a fine warder.
What do you mean, was? Sorry, did you say was?
Aye, he doesn't work here anymore. He left the job.
Oh my. When was this exactly?
There's a question. When was it about? Can't have been much less than 10 years ago now.
What? Excuse me? Excuse me? What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago?
Aye, as a mind, you can't hear the fella's name in all that time. That's a worry if he's gone missing too.
But Miss Vigil made no mention of it.
I think perhaps Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here.
Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? If you put your glasses upside down for 3 seconds. Okay. Like this. There you go. Why'd Mr. Vigil give up his job here?
That's important, is it?
Thanks. Yeah! Now I'm gonna flip them again because it's actually kind of hurting my eyes. But thank you for the money. I'm performing for money. I'm a whore! I'm a clown and a whore! Oh! I'm nothing but a piece of meat to you, viewers. Yes, I believe it may be. I just noticed that fat-ass bird he has. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Oh, shit, yeah, 10 years ago. There's another thing that happened 10 years ago of slight importance here, huh? which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warden 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed?
It was after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
I just saw word for it here. A walk to the gallows.
An execution.
It's the job of the chief warden to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What'd he do?
Let the prisoner free. Sorry, but I can't reveal that information. But I can tell you it's very rare for a chief warden to be relieved of his post.
But why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here.
Well, I wouldn't care anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, Anne?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly.
Well, I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm no liberty to answer that.
I see. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery all have a lot to do with one another. Well, after all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. You can't...
Yeah, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your fellow worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today.
Saint Sinners. That's come up before, I'm sure. It's also a fucking great name. I'd love to be Saint Sinner. That's hilarious. Awesome, Cabelliot. Always appreciate the company. Yes, that's right. We've been there.
We can trouble right after you used to roll the carriage together and negotiate terms.
For more fresh material, I suppose.
Aye, we used to sit here for hours and gabble on about that section or so. Takes me back. I bought tea to play a cup biscuits course.
How charming.
Are you making fun of me, ma'am? He's a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. Of setting the dead. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Sogi, I suppose.
Well, I couldn't tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
One more for you, Aaron. I'm sure I'm here somewhere. I found it. Yeah, take this as a wee souvenir your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original mine.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Barricading, such a good name. Chief Order Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect, having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Reason for dismissal: aiding and abetting the escape from this prison of convict law just prior to his execution. Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. To Additional notes. Indications are the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. It's believed that the convict engaged in some sort of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. Interesting. Well, that confirms one suspicion, and we have a pretty good idea as to what the second one is.
We're on return. Do me a favor, never come back here. That case is closed.
Okay, not even for tea and cuff biscuits?
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes what we found out about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Miss Vigil, I wonder? I see. He ascended to a plane of existence where murder is okay if they're bad people. True moment. We're back!
Hello, you two!
Oh, hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all.
Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is. I could go for a scone. Sholmes! Why are you just dressing up as Genshin Impact characters? Why are you like this?
You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Or should I call you Hatsune Miku Sholmes?
Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application.
Oh my.
Pray, tell me, what of our water friend? Have you garnered some new information?
Oh, yeah. There's something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. He is the fucking boyfriend from Friday Night Funkin'. God damn it.
Sholmes! Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important.
Gina.
Oh, I can't believe it.
What's happened?
Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever.
It's the boss.
What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? Don't say it! Don't say it! Don't fuck! Ah! I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore, guys. I'm on the fucking edge of, I'm on the end of my rope. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm losing it. I'm losing it, everybody. No. No. Oh, it should have been me. It should have been Sholmes. They should have killed off Sholmes. It's just so sad. No. No. They just found his body shot with a pistol.
What?
But Inspector Gregson, he was murdered?
No, not Gregsy.
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story.
Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson he was really shot?
I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A well-rented room in a building full of flats off Fresno Street.
The outskirts of town. Nowhere near his home.
He was perhaps investigating a case then. The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there. Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. Oh, I ain't up to much yet, but
One day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him I'll become a proper detective.
Oh, Ginny.
So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? We're gonna fucking kick his ass.
They got him already.
Already? They've caught this shooter so soon?
A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him.
Who? Who was the awful person that did this? Oh, don't give me a double heartbreak. Don't give me a double heartbreak.
I still can't believe it myself.
Don't say it was Toby the dog. Toby the dog. I will not believe Toby the dog shot Gregson. Not Toby. He's too pure. He would never be a murderer. He's a good boy.
It was the
Oh, fuck. What? Are we defending Van Zeeks? What is going on? Brother! Wait a minute, you don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zeeks for it?
That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
No, Lord Van Zeeks. What the fuck is happening?
Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Barak Van Zeeks the police have arrested.
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard.
I don't believe it.
But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him.
So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses?
They heard the gunshot apparently, and when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room.
But there's no way Lord Van Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing.
It's called empathy, my dear miss.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna take a cab over to the scene right now. Please come and all as soon as you can. You gotta help.
Fuck.
It's the detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot is unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves.
Mr. Sholmes.
What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming? How could I let this happen to Gregson? Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations.
Of course, yes, we will too.
It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then.
Inspector Gregson dead, and Lord Van Zeeks arrested.
Runo, Susie. I've called you a handsome. It's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mrs. Otto? I do appreciate when you call me handsome, Iris. It's a little weird because you're a little girl, but it's fine. Thank you. I feel very good when you say it.
Yes.
Lord Van Zeeks has been arrested. What is happening? There he is, Lord Van Zeeks behind bars.
So it's true, he really was arrested.
He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeeks. Weren't you in charge of Strongheart's shit?
Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, with the last person on Earth I'd like to see.
Oh, you're a poet and you didn't even know it. And you're a murderer and nobody else knew it either. Wow. Good job. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was...
Go home. This has nothing to do with you.
But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you.
What were you doing just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case?
This? The yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know as it happens. Albert Hairbrain.
Of course, yes. I keep forgetting that they went to the same university.
And I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know?
Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zeeks never minces his words, but they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Hey, you want me to present the fucking article? You know he's just not gonna say anything, but okay.
It's not for me.
That's not why I was showing you it.
I suppose if it was a black-headed league, you would have no hesitation.
Oh, he does have a line on it. What the fuck?
You would have no hesitation.
None whatsoever.
Sadly, my own hair could be no more described as black as it could red. What colored league should I then join?
Purple?
People are troubled by the most unexpected problems at times.
I did not think there'd be dialogue for that. Good call. Can you just tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zeeks? What happened?
How much do you already know?
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself.
But the gunshot, obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you?
I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers.
So he doesn't actually know what happened.
If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
I don't need to answer that.
Oh.
After all, you're not representing me.
Is he gonna need a lawyer, though? He is gonna need a lawyer, though. I think you know that this is worn by people in my country to show that they're defense lawyers, don't you?
And I think you know that I believed you to be merely playing at lawyer-craft, initially. But it would seem your armband may actually imply some dormant talent after all.
Lord Van Zeeks, do you mean?
Let's hope you wake up soon.
Yes, I was clearly daydreaming. I almost thought I got a compliment there. Who's gonna be representing you in court, Lord Van Zeeks?
Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know.
But this is different.
In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole.
But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you?
It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may have come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that.
What does he mean by that? After the trial, Professor Hairbrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. There was nothing straight about that dude. Hello?
It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad. You mean?
Yes, so it seems. Your astute little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day.
Yes, that's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo.
So Professor Hairbrain is safely back in Germany now.
He is? So, it appears our conversation has run dry.
There was a 2-second silence, that's all.
Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you.
I was wondering, Lord Van Zeeks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you.
You trust me, do you?
Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly.
It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one.
So what, you're gonna fucking represent yourself, dickhead? What?
Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese.
But please.
I have.
Yeah, Post with the sub. Thank you, Post. Woo! Gamer moment. That's what we've been waiting for, baby.
I have no intention of engaging your services.
The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems.
I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will have to waste any more time.
Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zeeks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. First of November, room on Fresno Street. Can't be a gamer if you don't play games. Although Post did play Elden Ring, so I guess he is a gamer. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people will find their way down this back street. So this duster and rented old room is where it happened then.
So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life.
There is a red wig on the floor. Oh boy. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere.
Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers is going to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack, too. Blimey, ain't you lot never go to a house looking through a door when the owners are out of town?
Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt.
Yeah, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself.
Hello again, Gina.
Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. He went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking at this and just scarping.
Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? We missed logic extraordinaire.
Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one, not even me.
Gina, would you mind if we investigated too?
Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right?
Yes? Why?
Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you?
Oh, poor Gina. She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever.
Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zeeks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court.
I suppose you're right, yeah? Go on then, Otto, get investigating.
I want to know the truth about what really happened here.
Thank you, Gina. Tell us about this picture.
Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members.
What's the matter? Your eyes look they're about to pop out of your head.
They are. Look, Mr. Naruhodo, quickly.
The picture's not going anywhere. And the plot thickens. Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow?
Of course she's familiar. We met her only this morning.
It's Evie, dude.
This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Miss Vigil in here?
To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped.
I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either.
The framed photograph has been entered into the court record. Can we open that up? No, we can't. Okay. It's Jigglypuff from above! Shit, you right. This looks like some sort of notice board or something, and it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper.
Mr. Naruhodo, look!
This you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it?
And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates.
Yes, in fact, they're all sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. So this is where Daly has been spending his days. What on earth went on in this room?
Some old newspaper cuttings. And this one here.
Oh yes, the advertisement, you mean? To the Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here?
Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason.
An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it?
It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say that it hasn't been used in a very long time.
In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather.
Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely.
No, that's right. It's one or the other. Oh, what's this?
It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way.
Seeing as it's on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson?
It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeek's playing with something like this.
It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record as evidence, just in case.
Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way.
Just gonna take that. Nothing on this dude. Oh.
The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear.
I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody had enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun. What's that?
It appears to be some sort of key.
But it's tiny though. It could be a key for a door. Not of that size. So what is it for, I wonder? This is presumably the murder weapon then.
Oh my, is it real, I suppose?
I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them.
There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
Fire a shot! Don't do it, Mr. Naruhodo! If I do that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly sort of just ask someone who might know, I think. I suppose this must have been the murder weapon.
Oh my, is it real, I suppose?
I think so. Is this the same? Do we know somebody familiar with firearms? I mean, it wouldn't be Gina. I mean, maybe Barry Caden. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh, it's his neutral B, you're right. Oh, funny enough, neither can I.
It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is. Bright red hairpiece.
I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means that we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it?
And it's such a flame-colored red, too.
Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it?
Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it.
So I suppose this is where the victim...
That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away.
And would probably be under Dr. Sai's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball.
Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruhodo? You look as if you've just seen a ghost.
I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it.
Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can even be worse than reality.
Sada-song is strong, though. She's taken this far better than I am. Well, it's possible he didn't die immediately, right? The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off.
Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind, look.
I suppose if a bullet had hit it,
it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body.
Ugh, now that the wax on the wall looks like blood to me. The candelabrum! Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards with the broken glass, haven't they? You couldn't even really call it a window anymore.
Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say
nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Excuse me.
If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard.
I've interrupted some deep thoughts there. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like.
Doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you?
I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have used lots of birdlime to keep it in place in your head. Then get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean.
That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, though, don't you think?
Ah, there are some black marks here, look.
Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks.
So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems.
Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them.
Excuse me.
Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir.
Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigation when he's so upset. Excuse me.
Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir.
Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then. Of course everyone loves Gregson. Gina, what do you make of this?
What is that? Evidence? Would you worked out something would happen, have you?
Oh, no, not exactly.
I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet, but I swear I'm gonna get the person who did this to the boss.
you know anything about guns? Gina, what do you mean? Nope. You don't know nothing about guns. Nope. Okay. I figured all the things that belong to Gregson might be relevant. I wonder if we could ask this guy about the gun. Nope. He's not at home. Do you know anything about guns? No. Can't talk to you. You're still sitting here. Can we talk? Smikataba is obviously trying to relax on that settee there. Father has only just arrived after a very long voyage from home, and tomorrow he will speak at an important symposium that will garner the attention of the whole world. He needs a little peace and quiet now. I was just about to think that. Pardon? It's only one thing reading my thoughts, but at least let me have them first. Oh dear, perhaps my brain works too quickly. She just called me slow. Really? Not here either? Iris? Nope, no Iris. Oh, I didn't realize she had stuff. Oops. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what? After years since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up my dive and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Shums twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did. Yup, ever since then he's still going out with all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows all half the cases he's worked on, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? So what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? Well, you know, he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all. Yeah, look where I landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I had him say as much. I take my hat off to that fella. Where's words? Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why I respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He says something else to me and all. I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people who are bad. It did kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's been rented by some gove called Yu Boone. Yu Boone. Sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right, all the lads from the yard piled down to get stuck in this investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Zato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I'd never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? Why, if you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that ended it. We should really investigate this place in detail. I see, that's where the poor inspector was found over there.
Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in.
I'm so sad he's dead.
Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. And the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's in it. No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. Oh, I don't know what to do with him himself if you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? A bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs wrong under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who had the gun shop. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they all been taken down to the yard for questioning us, boy. And we're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling. You think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. Lads at the yard will just want to know what you're snooping around for and you'll be up and grilling all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Strong heart, tell me about a gun, please. Strong heart, why are you framing Lord Van Zeeks?
You've made good time.
I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone.
Kazuma, is everything in place?
I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's... Kazuma-sama!
Ah, your timing is impeccable!
It is?
No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry.
Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord of Strongheart? That Lord Van Zeeks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson.
I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zeeks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective.
Oh no, surely not!
It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes.
Does that mean the trial is tomorrow?
Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions.
Kazuma.
Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution.
Wait. What? Kazuma?
As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law.
Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? Why is he wearing a fucking... Why is Kazuma wearing a fucking steampunk chastity belt?
I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds.
There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock.
Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped convictions subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zeeks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent.
That's certainly true, though it has been at least until now.
Ah. Oh, did I yell? Sorry.
No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I just speak facts. I just speak true facts. It's right there. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. So Cosmo will be prosecuting tomorrow? Well, that's right.
But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Cosmo will be razor sharp as a prosecutor.
But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial.
You asked for this? But why?
It'll all become clear tomorrow.
I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you?
Although the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
This is an Incineroar cosplay. Fucking Galarian Incineroar, Steampunk Incineroar.
Surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Mikitaba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks.
So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution.
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months.
Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend.
Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zeeks?
That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene.
Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know.
That's right, Mr. Naruhodo. Be direct.
Alright, certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim.
No, Gregson had his gun on his person.
What about Lord Van Zeeks?
He claims it's currently not in his possession.
What?
According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
No, of course not.
Nevertheless, the situation is great for Lord Van Zeeks. I mean, there's no reason to present the gun, right? Yeah. Let's see. What could we ask about here? No, dismissal notice would not be important. Ask Vigil? Okay. Nothing. I'm not sure why he would have anything to say about that. Still nothing to say. I don't know why he would have anything to say about the Vigil stuff. Unless you mean this. I've literally tried everything related to the Vigils.
Penned by Dr. Mikitaba, I see. It's been 10 long years.
But you remember my father, do you?
Certainly I remember him, and the 2 other visiting students. Of course, Mikataba was assigned to the hospital laboratory, so we rarely met. Jikaku, on the other hand, studied our justice system under my personal supervision. Oh, I see. As I said, that was 10 years ago now, but I'm pleased to see they've both made names for themselves in their particular disciplines. Yeah,
It says, have we asked everything we can ask? I would love to talk to... Oh, I think I know what we need to do. It's not actually here. We got to examine Kazuma.
I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now.
Has your memory completely returned?
Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do.
Right.
Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits.
Dude's got a fucking microchip implanted?
It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return the way it was before.
Huh? What do you mean?
We are no longer butt buddies. I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
Oh no, we're not butt buddies anymore! This is so sad. It doesn't look like we're gonna glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart.
Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you can learn from the public gallery.
Get him. Sorry I've taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Hold! Before you go, Ryunosuke.
Oh, what is it, Kazuma?
I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
To find out about your father.
I actually have a favor to ask.
Which is?
This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel.
Why? What's this all about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands.
On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gredson. And a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's that third person?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean?
Yes. What I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight-talking makes him take a different view. Take it.
Gregson's photograph has been entered into the court record. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma? Alright. I'll be on my way. Prison! I love going to prison. That's where Stormy is all the time. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter. Lord Van Zieks is actually a really, really bad reader. He's still on like the third sentence.
You must have been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. Might even be able to ring English faster than he can.
I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, have you found a lawyer?
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you.
In other words, no.
We're just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is.
It's gonna be Kazuma Asogi.
Asogi!
That made the color drain from his face.
Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. "10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court?
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
Let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that?
Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese.
Right. Your hatred of all of us Japanese. The root of your racism, some might say.
I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard.
And that was Genshin Asogi?
Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mail Strongheart.
The case continues to thicken. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart?
He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should arrive in London but you?
Ah.
And of all things, as a lawyer.
I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese.
I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it.
And I can understand why now that I know the history.
But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life, to Kazuma Asogi I am the bane of his, the reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy.
Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he?
I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean.
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh.
The Paris police welcoming an English defective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place.
It sounds like that mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. Yeah, he does have Damon Gant vibes. I've been thinking that since the beginning. Although Damon Gant wasn't actually in the OG game. He was added in the, like, bonus episode. The original OG bad was Von Karma, baby!
We hear that he was considered something of a legend.
We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would have never been made.
What sort of approach?
After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my, 10 years ago. Why is that so surprising?
Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined that it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death.
So you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities, then. And it's even more inconceivable that you have taken his life.
I don't have confidence in anyone.
Oh?
And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way. I've no doubt he thought of me only as the ominous Reaper, just like the rest of London.
No, he loved you. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of the relationship? Your gun! Well, the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene.
Yes, that's not mine.
Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is.
What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Stromguard informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true.
When did you lose it then?
That I don't know.
Oh.
I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps.
You have something in common with Lord Van Zieks, after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things. No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it.
Don't make the mistake of associating me with the Nipponese.
Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Lord Van Zieks, we came by this old photograph.
Where did you get that?
It was taken when I became a qualified...
prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost.
Is the man on the left there?
Yes, that's my brother, Clint McElroy.
It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that?
Respect? That's nonsense!
No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Juno Lestrade, no less.
Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you.
I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the Stone-Cold Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name.
I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in.
What's that?
That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks.
From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey to almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer.
Oh shit. Oh shit. We're being complimented. Hell yes.
There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi.
The man he idolized, the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way.
When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me.
You mean this photograph? Look at this photograph! Every time you look at it, it makes you cry because your brother's dead, and your friend's dead, and everyone you love is dead.
Back then, I was able to laugh. I was free of shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe.
I'm so sorry.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
Yes! Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
Then my life is in your hands. Don't fuck it up.
For Lord Van Zeeks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Kazuma. Where do we save it? We save it here, right? Yeah. Alright, we will be right back in 1 minute. I am going to take a restroom break, and then we'll be back to start the court bullshit. Where we defend Lord Van Zeeks. See you in a minute. Oh. Boo! Hell yeah! Let's do it. What's Stormy Sunshine going about? Let's do it. Let's get into this trial, baby. Meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes. Yo, Bailey. We're back. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose? Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant.
A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary.
What do you mean?
I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected.
A trial without a jury?
Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
Closed court. Hello. Oh, he got his hair back to normal.
Good morning, my dear fellows.
Mr. Sholmes.
Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree.
To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem.
Ha! What? To one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion.
Oh, nice. Good for them. That's a number on the Switch. Oh, cool.
You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
Oh dear, how awful for you. At least you're not on trial for the murder of one of your friends.
I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes.
And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. That would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir.
Get him. But Mr. Sholmes!
After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind.
My own. Fucking... We even got Van Zeeks to give us a compliment, but you still can't do it.
What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper.
Sorry to barge in.
Gina.
What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose.
Father, shouldn't she be at the symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with a police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Believe you me, I've seen the sexual tension in this courtroom. There's a lot of fucking fruits in that courtroom, my man. Oh, yes, Gina? Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, for one, who was it? I don't know that, yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Fiery eyes indeed.
Yeah, Elliot, that's been on my mind for a while. It's like, this is the case of the legendary detective of Scotland Yard, with the killer being the Reaper of the Bailey, the fucking most historic prosecutor in all of history, and it's being prosecuted and defended by 2 Japanese dudes with no fucking jury. This is a weird-ass case.
Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
What?
At least that may be some solace to the deceased.
Please, Otto. Yeah, whoever did this, for the boss.
Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find who done this and make the wretch pay.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Come with me, chest and shot. I make your way to the country by watch page.
Alright then, here we go. Here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zeeks.
One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. You know, I just realized we're gonna be on the receiving end of Kazuma's fucking katana. We shouldn't have given that back to him. He's gonna kill us. Whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. The Old Bailey courtroom. There really just is no jury, huh? That means no summation examinations. That's so sad. That's my favorite part. That's my favorite minigame.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant Barak Van Zeeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. Would have thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions throughout the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present.
Then why the fuck? Wait, hold on. Hold on. Well, this makes total sense, but like, didn't Strongheart literally yesterday tell us to view this from the public gallery? Okay.
By Her Majesty's direct orders.
How will that work? There's literally... I see people! I see people in the stands. How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration education falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' benches shall remain vacant today.
If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness the proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Members of the judiciary?
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
I guess they answered my question.
There is another unprecedented aspect of these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and defense are both aliens of Great Britain. Take me to your leader.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma.
Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel.
The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. Let's take a quick look at that autopsy report, though. Accent, British, time of death. Not interesting that the time of death is not listed. Coroner Maria Gori. Cause of death, chest, blunt range, alt, instant death, scorch marks, bullet point. Caliber of the gun matches standard issue. Okay.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively.
Bravo, Cosmo-sama, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There's a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile.
We noticed that too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for your thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord. That all strikes me as fair play.
Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
Let's take another quick look at that. So this is the door. Okay. So the door opens this way, so I wonder if there's going to be some argument about that, potentially. No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone, but there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair.
So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other.
When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So, the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
A name, please, Counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself.
Lord Van Zeeks!
As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand.
So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
Barak Van Zeeks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zeeks, that you heard Prosecutor Soger's opening précis?
Précis? What is... I've never... I mean, I know what that word means, but I've never actually seen that word written like that, huh?
I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room in Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place.
I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zeeks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony, then, witness.
The facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. That testimony was the whole truth. It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi.
It would appear to be a singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't the word, it's laughable.
What's gotten into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all.
Very well, then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Well, there's literally nothing to argue with him about, so let's just press.
Hold it! You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in the case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed.
Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene?
No, I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary.
Damn!
The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry.
You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Cheeks?
I was aware of the possible consequences.
So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet, you refused to tell the court why.
I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one.
Had you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
But at 5 p.m. the sun would have only just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor.
There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure?
I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as a framed photograph.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor.
Hold it! So who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you say it was very dark in there.
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence.
Aha! Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room?
No, that's out of the question.
Oh.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
This is gonna go in from bad to worse.
And you say that that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part.
Presumably, then the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took into your hands.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired?
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume?
That's right. One of the street merchants working on the Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants? What do you mean gunshot analysis? The gunshot analysis is that it was the gunpowder. We got the burn marks because it was really close.
A number of them have set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They have all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened.
Yes, Trina told us about that yesterday, didn't she?
They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did. And almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled.
A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred.
Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and suddenly, there it was.
Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first, nothing more.
I see.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson.
Most curious circumstances indeed.
How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough.
My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barak Van Zeeks, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean?
Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say?
In his testimony just now,
He claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark.
That's correct.
No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by that candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before.
That's the truth.
In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all the documents on that board.
Indeed, what is this common thread, Counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak Van Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good Lord!
Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
Ah!
Oh no. So, I mean, Cosmo's not wrong, but this basically just means that if we find who did this, we find who's been killing everyone else in the name of the Reaper, which is pretty good. Oh shit! No, Gregson wasn't a defendant. I was thinking in the first game, the last case with Graydon. Gregson was found guilty of withholding information, right? For the sake of the country. But that wouldn't be a reason for the Reaper to kill Gregson. So why would the Reaper kill Gregson?
In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
Yeah, the real Reaper, not Barak Van Zieks. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. What? What? You are... Bro, you have learned to jump to conclusions so well, my friend.
Order! Very well, I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered a great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention. The defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts.
All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cosmo's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed in court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord.
Okay.
And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. You can do that. I would like to take a quick look at this. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back in years here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out. Do you remember? There was a red hair piece at the scene, too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League, then?
Bruh!
Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look!
Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks like a handprint.
And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear, how disturbing.
Fun. That's probably irrelevant to the case, right? Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in some previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well, lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly, my lord. He's back? Yo! Okay, the girl's kind of cute, and fucking old man is back. So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. And then there's this guy.
Names, spit on those names. Try too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just free and easy, sell what we like, live where we want to live.
I can give them all vacant stairs and walk down the front door and spit a few words of verse for them. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Everyone calls me Gossip. I spell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know.
Jaunty little tidbits.
Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your ginnel it is. 6 is the price and not a penny less.
Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now?
Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man.
Give him the money and see what it is.
Pay the man, counsel.
What the fuck? Why do I gotta do it? He's on the witness stand.
Alright, 6 pence it is. Why am I paying him?
You won't regret it, sir. Now I got you listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street have just had twins.
Why the fuck would I care about that?
Is that it?
No, that's not it. It's gossiping. I want to spread. Wants to spread. With that bitch up to you and your mouth, of course. I got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 it is, if you're curious.
I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking under your collar. Ooh, interesting. What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me, I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. 6 pence a pop, what do you say? Pay the man, or pay the lady. You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Wanna part with 6 pence a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom.
Try the woman.
Give her the money and let's see if she's right. What the fuck, everyone?
Pay the woman, counsel.
Alright, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff, right then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special, only 600 pence.
600!
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. Venus firecracker has been entered into the court record. Ooh. Yeah, that could make the sound of a gunshot, couldn't it? This could very potentially be a gunshot sound. Any other idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus Special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom.
Bang!
Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like...
What name do you go by and what do you sell?
I'm a thinker, me, thinking all such thoughts. I think, therefore I am, therefore I think. Because I stand there on the street watching the world go up behind me. They call me the observator.
Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it.
So you don't actually sell anything?
Problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do. I think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no. Come to think of it.
Pity.
No more purchases today, please.
Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night. My lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see, and thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they were very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime.
Well, I'll be bigger than I thought, just between us.
Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
Well, what I think is if all I saw is light and shadow play with her eyes, is that even real?
Yo, Sandwich is great. Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
The witness's account.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to what? Gosh, we couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
These witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything. Who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barak Van Zeeks.
I seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I made myself a tiny sum already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it? All those flats in Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
The testimony of the court has just heard what appeared to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No!
Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony. Somehow. The witness's account.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zeeks?
I suppose so. The likes of us just don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing, it was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain.
Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time of each other?
No, not at all. The first fellow must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot.
The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that?
Am I sure? Doesn't seem likely to have forgotten a fellow with a bright red hair like that, does it?
Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even.
That is that fire red bob still burn on the inside of my eyes.
Wait a minute, you're saying the man was a redhead?
Weren't you listening, chum? He was a redhead and he had a big trunk with him as well.
But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Seems likely the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at the photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. And a rare hairpiece. Red hairpiece. Ah, of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? It was Vive Bug Fables! Oh my god. You're right. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? I think we all know the answer to that.
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
Can't believe Vi Bug Fables did it. She used a gun instead of a boomerang. That's insane. What became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared.
What? Do you expect us to have been watching that building every second, do we, huh?
We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. it was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Hold it!
By which presumably you mean the gunshot?
I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building. That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang it went, just like that.
Well, he's the Reaper, and it's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it?
I think we got the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime.
Yes, it's certainly an eminently credible motive.
Great. And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct?
Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk, guys. We couldn't wait and go to see what happened.
So I'm a bit confused because here they're saying that Gossip went in first, but then in Barrick's thing, he said that the first person who entered the room was the person who ran away and got the police. But that was the girl who ran away and got the police, but she wasn't the first to enter the room because Gossip was, right? So when Gossip ran to see what would happen, did you go too? That's also a good point. If that's his hideout and he goes there all the time, but they've never seen him before.
Well, me, I'm a bit happy. You see all the sides of that, and I can't move very well.
You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before?
I'm not anybody. Me signs to make me who I am now. I signed, therefore I am.
I fucking knew it. It's the dude from the first case. The not the ferryman. The dude who drives the thing. So you weren't employed by the omnibus driver just under a year ago then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot.
Turn down King Henry Street in the Black Widow's Arms is just there.
Oh dear, you've made him hide behind a sign. Life is full of surprises.
I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper gun in hand, standing over a dead body.
So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene. Is that right?
Yeah, that I was. Kicked the door open like a professional I did and yelled out, "What's going on off here?"
Lord Van Zieks claims all he heard was a man scream, though. And that it was dark outside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burned on the wall.
Really?
There was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, this is the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
I see. Even though Lord Van Zieks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
The next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body.
The accused Barrick Van Zieks.
Yeah, that's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Is that right?
Excuse me.
Yo, Sandwich, you got thoughts? Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am, just two slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something? Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean.
What I think is we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want to make us to make you into a real sandwich. Oh, when he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it?
Oh, you rotten beggar, I told you to keep that a secret.
He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true?
The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Blended my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck.
What? At the door? What? A pool of blood?
But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving that Reaper a cold hard stare, and don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand?
I did. It happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? I was so scared, so I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must.
The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
Slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off on the floor.
Hold it!
You wiped your hand on the floor.
Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. They might have thought I'd done it.
And you didn't think that might be a problem?
Well, does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll get cleaned up in the end one day. I don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us.
Is something wrong, Coach?
No, my lord.
I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all. Oh, fuck. The thing was down on the ground. He wiped his handprint on the floor and it ended up on the back of the thing because it wasn't right side up.
Don't go booing and all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off. On the floor. The blood.
I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo? I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. I was scared after death, me.
Objection!
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint and blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board.
Yes, indeed, indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood.
You did right. That's my hand. My right hand, I know it anywhere.
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
But what if it was on the floor? Not if the board itself had fallen over on the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim in an upright position. If it had somehow been toppled over and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body.
I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
Yeah, because the body was on the other side of the room originally, which is why Barrack Van Zeeks didn't see it. There was light at the thing, even though the candles were out, and why the handprint is there. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by the board moving? Not another handprint. No, it's the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down.
Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards.
What does that tell us?
It tells us one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor, as I previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved.
What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who.
I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can be very clear on one point.
And that would be...
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord.
So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
Take that!
This is the only possible location.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body.
Bayek!
If the notice board had been there, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him.
Yeah, because the fucking board fell over. That's true. Or in his precise words,
Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open.
if you look again at the floor plan, and consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force.
That can't.
The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw.
Ah!
Order! Counsel, how has this all come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when it was investigating the room.
Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
What? Me, my lord?
You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
And stop looking over your glasses at me. I got the message.
The mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that motorsport. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
I don't know anything about it. I'm just a bystander, me. Just decided to cross roads of life. It was that reaper I bet. He's got a face that screams bored.
What does that mean?
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
Wasn't a gunshot. There's some firecrackers.
So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crimes they witnessed, and with only a light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right. Yeah, it didn't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge is destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barrack Van Zeeks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord.
Very well, then you may proceed, counsel.
Mystery in the moving board. Don't know anything about what that notice for. Just write my hand on it. That's all. That's fine. Don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. Was doing business with some second years. Hold it! Interesting! Were you perhaps doing some firecrackers? When you say you're doing business with them, you mean you're selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's Prairie School just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school at Kingdom Come. Nah. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course, sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives. If the teachers thought of confiscating them. I guess they can't. She's an adult.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Well, Tim, Balefaced Lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Sandwich has got a lot to say about these two knuckleheads. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. You are in a court of law. Miss Venus' statement right now brings something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts, deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but it seems to me like you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? I love Sandwich.
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that, and I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and interesting young face, young lady.
So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Call him by his name, Asogi. His name is Mr. Sandwich, and you will respect that. Mr. Sandwich deserves respect, arguably more than anybody else in this courtroom. I love Mr. Sandwich. I'll die for him.
Oh, we'll blab about here and got headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right, that rotten liar over there.
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? Didn't she say that in her previous testimony?
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? This is a court of law. By the way, you kinda gotta tell the truth. You don't get to say lies just 'cause you're cute. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah?
Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. In my private chambers.
Nah, Judge ain't like that. The Judge is a swell dude. He ain't like that.
For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind Gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened. Okay.
Hold it!
And tell us about that. You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'll take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know?
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Oh, well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I can sell. So I did the place once over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath all of it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flip the blasted thing.
You're telling us that you did move that board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
Well, you damn bomb pot!
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell? Oh, please, I should be so lucky in my imagination.
The truth, now!
I might have found this odd pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask. Ah! So was it? You're the one who took it. Gina!
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Grayson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. Boss used to wind up every now and then without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come to the pub.
I see.
I swept it off him once and blimey was he upset. Gave me a raw earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it, winding it. It meant the world to him. That watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then?
It's not all that, though. I took it to Yaba's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it.
Ah! I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done.
Fucking no! Literally what? You are a criminal. No! We're not giving you the stolen goods back. You're insane.
That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
Now, children, watch your manners.
Good lord. The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot. And what time is it showing?
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Yabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have been stopped at the hour of 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. But, no, wait, didn't he come in 15 minutes later?
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Gregson's pocket watch has been entered into the court record.
Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
Glass over the face was really badly cracked. Look, what a shame. The inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. Imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact. But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. Oh, shit. There's a little keyhole. We know what that is. Holy wonder uses a wind-up mechanism. Looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. We have that. Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit this hole. It'd be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from the small hole here, look. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course, which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe.
We know what it's for.
Miss Susato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. Oh, that's hot. And the watch moves once more.
I knew it, a perfect fit.
And look, the inspector's watch has started going again. Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Miss Susato? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply too.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, Counsel.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Me, just a sign of the crossroads of life. Who's that Reaper? I bet he's got the face that screams bored. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. He still died when we heard the gunshot.
Hold it!
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it? Maybe the notice board fell over, maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of that gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too.
My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win.
In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of their story, it may be possible to change our fates. Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it? Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. That happened after the event, so maybe Cosmo is right and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view, so I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all this. Yes, I know what you mean. I have no doubt that there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, that doesn't seem relevant. Let's... Can we harp on this again? Will there be anything new, or... You certainly know how to lie. Oh, it was nothing really. Just a little porky. With not so little implications. Did you know? Everything in the world, apart from the truth, is a big fat lie. If you believe that, of course. I'm lost.
As am I. This desecration of the truth is really rather disturbing. I think perhaps we should move on to the next witness.
Hold it!
But you did go to see what happened in the room, didn't you? Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So you did go to see what happened?
It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it? Did you notice the notice board in the room? Hey, if you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family.
So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo siniens. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just decided the crossroads of life.
In which case, just who was responsible for moving the power board?
I mean, we know that.
Was that Reaper I bet he's got a face?
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that?
No, come on now. Don't tell me he's got any not notice. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. Yeah, but not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes.
I can't say I'd ever noticed.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second.
So his eyes were going like this. Sorry?
Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do you?
If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board.
Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it. If he'd heaved the thing upright and dragged it into the corner.
Right. Glad we've cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma.
Hold it!
So you admit that this was the board you wiped your bloody hand on?
Admit it? What's there to admit? It's as plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint, so you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you?
No. Imagine the weight of that gray lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man?
Well, did you see anybody else moving the board?
I got nerves of steel, I could tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a bunny on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing right over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definitive testimony on that point.
Yes, so it would seem.
Okay. Is this where we present this potentially?
Objection!
No. Okay. I mean, we have several different leads, and we have a good idea of what happened, but I can't figure out which thing we're specifically presenting. Is it the watch now?
Objection!
Okay. I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh. At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it is in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What?!
Order! But counsel! The watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot. It is exactly the hour.
The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind it up every now and then without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come to the pub. He said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years pushing it and winding it. It meant the world to him that it watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening,
We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Well, how do you explain it then?
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean... What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead.
Order! Order, Counsel! That is the most extraordinary claim!
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the world, it's absurd! You claim he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that?
On that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report.
The time of death.
The time of death is not noted.
That's right.
Wait a minute, you're forgetting my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood.
Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh. Who says it's the victim's blood?
He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection!
But that blood could be explained any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body after he... Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner?
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example.
It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection!
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question.
Is it, though?
What?
Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, please, what are you trying to say?
There's a lot of what we heard, and it was a loud bang that came from that there room. Now you listen to me. Street tellers here's our livelihood.
I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Explain yourself then, Counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with...
Take that!
something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious, the very fireworks that are stolen by the witness.
Now hold on a minute, you saying I did it? My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See?
Not 100 of them together. The Venus Special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene. I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day, and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person to present the cause that bang. The only person present to cause that bang was Barrack Van Zeeks.
One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See? It's why people like him.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb?
Good heavens, a bomb!
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like.
Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
No. Wait. It's the whenever you like part that's important. A timed device. Yes, exactly. A time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, Counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device was employed to create the gunshot sound? Ooh,
do I have anything like that? Shit. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device... The wicks of the can. Fuck yeah, that's good. That's good shit.
Take that!
Good shit. Good shit, Stormy. Hype. I was getting there, but you caught it before I did. As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in the candelabrum has been borne off.
Indeed. Because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
There are? Goodness, yes. But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Which means that the scorching on the candle cannot possibly be the result of the gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks? How can that be, eh? The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at the point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until they eventually ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe that they had heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we'd been led to believe. The previous day, even.
Now just hold your horses. There's all those lots on the victim going to the building, remember?
I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair even if I wanted to. Could have been anybody. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Obviously anybody can wear a wig, so the person these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer.
Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Kazuma?
I'm really quite amazed you've come this far.
But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned,
this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Get him, King!
Order! Order! Prosecutor Asugi, what on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopped watch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative works alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the professor of the day in question?
Take that!
I can't say that I find your answer suggestive of anything in particular. Other than perhaps that it is utterly wrong. That much you've clarified most expertly.
Fuck. Oh, you're right. Congratulations, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You deserve a reward for that expert display. Ah! Fuck. Did you just draw Karuma on me, my friend?
I think, Mr. Naruhodo, that there's one particular piece of evidence that really does stand out in showing what case Inspector Gregson was investigating.
My lord, I have the answer now. Oops. Is it this? Or is it this? Oh, maybe it could be this.
Take that!
What? Fuck. But the red hair's in that picture. Is it the hair itself? Oh my god. Investigating his own murder. It's not his murder. I was trying to point at the hair. The question is it the fucking wig or is it the Redheaded League article? I mean, it's probably the hair.
Take that!
Okay. I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume that it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, you'd already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, Counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once.
2 redheads?
Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asogi.
At once, my lord.
Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess.
Way! Woohoo! I love recess.
Oh! Alright, we've been going for almost 4 hours. I think that's as good as place as any to cut it. Alrighty, well that is going to be it for tonight. Thank you all. I know we stopping literally in the middle of a court case, but that being said, we have been going for almost 4 hours and it is midnight, so I think this is as good a place as any to stop, because if we keep going, we're probably going to end up going for another 3 hours. I don't really want to be done at 3 a.m. So that is it. I may finish the case tomorrow, maybe, otherwise next Friday, as per usual. Could be fun to do it tomorrow, though. Could be. Could be. I'm not sure yet. I'm honestly not sure yet. Either way, thank you all for joining. I'm really happy to be back with this game. I forgot this game's a lot of fun. I also forgot how much this game makes my throat hurt from all the voices. But that being said, I will see you all either tomorrow or next week or whatever. It's great to see some familiar faces. I love you all. Bye-bye.